concretely, how do you create a space that promotes more inner creativity? And how do you do the same for the organization? So over the years, what I did is I started to put elements of my own practice together and test what worked for me, and try to really develop an approach that hopefully could be relevant to others. Because in a way, one of the questions that I was asking myself, after all those years of practice of creative leadership, is there any wisdom in me that is worth sharing with the rest of the world? And in a way, when you look at this framework, these are all things that you already know. These are all things that perhaps you do from time to time. But the idea here was to really think of, is there a sequence? Should we do certain things before others? And that's why for me it became, really important to think about when we create culture, when we work on culture, what we're truly doing is working on those 7 dimensions. And if you allow me, I just want to go a little bit in detail, and then we'll try later on to see this model in action and see how perhaps it could be beneficial or relevant to you. So for me, when you think about innovation and creativity, maybe we think about colors everywhere and pushing the boundaries, or we want to grow or profit or whatever it is. But to me, what I think about is to care, and to care first. And what I mean by that is that I really believe that inside of our organization, there's a fundamental objective, which is to really understand what is the true potential of the people who are working inside of our teams. And to me, caring is kind of the first thing that you do to set the context of a truly creative and innovative organization. And once you do that, then you're able to do the second thing, which is to secure safety, to make the space safe. Why do you want to make the space safe? Because when you push innovation, when you push creativity, you will challenge each other. You will have robust debate. But if the space is not safe, of course you can do it nonetheless, but you will impact the quality of your output. And once you do that, then magically something starts to happen. Trust starts to develop, to grow inside of the organization. And it's only when you have those 3 things solidly anchored that you can do what typically we think about when we think about creativity and innovation. It's playing. But for me, it's playing with danger and playing with limitation. Very important to push those 2 elements. How do we take our circumstances that feel limited, and how do we somehow transform that into a playful interaction? That's really at the core of creativity. And when we do that, typically what happens is that we start to dream. And those dreams leads to breakthrough. And those breakthroughs, eventually, they lead to growth. And I will try to show you in the concrete form, how this model can work. But something that you don't see here is that when you grow, when you win, very often we forget to talk about our recovery plan. Very often if we don't think about that recovery plan, we start to crash. And I think it's something as well that's really part of basically what I see as a practice. When I think about creativity and innovation, what I think about is not about a destination. I think about a practice that becomes a regular cycle inside of the organization, and not a destination where I get to grow and then we're done. But it's really something that, in essence, is as strong as the weakest link that you have in those dimensions. So, in a way, like I have all those titles of Group Chief Creative Officer and blah, 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 and author and so on. But when I really think about what I do and why I'm here on Earth, it's very simple. And I think that the reason why I'm here on Earth somehow has a connection to my vision of leadership, but I think it's also something I believe that is very relevant to your own approach on leadership. To me, it's really about being a master gardener. My version, my definition of leadership is about being a master gardener. And when you think about it, when I look at those 7 dimensions, this is my garden. So I try to create a context, for, all those different dimensions to be as enabling as possible of performance for everyone involved. So, I believe so much in this that I really took the time, at the end of my time at CERC to really write about this. And in a way, that's what I call, this idea of working on this framework, developing that practice. To me, that's what I call leading with creative courage. So let's dig a little bit because, I want to know if anyone here has heard about the 95% tragedy. Anyone has heard about that? 95% tragedy? Wow, not one person. Okay, all right. So hopefully that will be relevant. I believe that 95% of people around the world don't believe that they have superpowers. Therefore, they never get to develop, practice those superpowers. And of course, if they don't do that, then they never get to share them with the rest of the world. But to me, one of my most fundamental beliefs when it comes to fostering and leading creative and innovation inside of organizations and projects is going right there, right at the most fundamental, central element for me, which is celebrating and creating a space, for the superpowers of people around me to really grow. Actually, I've discovered that one of my superpowers is exactly that. It's to create the most fertile ground. As a master gardener, to create the most fertile ground for the superpowers of people around me, the genius of people around me, to shine as beautifully as possible. So in essence, that's my mission. That's why I'm here on Earth. But it's, so in a way, it's that for most organizations, the 95% is that those superpowers are dormant. They're sleeping. They're not activated in most of our organizations. And I think it's true as well inside of us. So, and when we think about superpowers, my point is that you don't need to be a superhero to have superpowers. You don't need to. It could be something as simple as the person who arrives in the morning and has this kind of special energy that changes everything in the meeting room. That could be a superpower. All the way to, this person's ability to negotiate multi-billion-dollar contracts, or bring peace in the world. So instead of just hearing me about this, we're going to try something. And what I'm going to ask you right now is to find a neighbor. So I want to make sure that you have one person, so I want to make sure that everyone in the room is not alone and you have a partner. So take a few seconds and find a partner right next to you. All right? All right, you have a partner? You have a partner?